What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my circle, where I give you guys the insight and inspiration behind some of my most viral videos. This next video, I thought this was important to make and to share because people see this version of me now and they think I've always been this way, but the truth is, I haven't. This was a decision that was made 10 years ago. And like I always say, like nobody falls upstairs. I didn't fall into this version. I put a lot of work in becoming the man, the father, and the husband I am today. So I thought this was important for people to understand, like the person that you see today wasn't the same person yesterday. I made a decision and I stuck with that decision and I went to work on myself and I just became this version of myself. So I thought this was important to share. So take a listen and let's have a conversation afterwards. Oh, I couldn't wait to share this one. Any moment, he would take you from waiting on it to walking in it.
Love you, babe. Love you, girl.
Cheers to no more surprise babies. Regardless of what you're going through, it won't last forever. Our marriage is goals because you don't just fall into goals, you work for it. And that's our story, and we're sticking to it. Have a blessed day, y'all. This is for all the women that keep asking, where can I find a man like you? Let me be honest, my wife didn't find this version of me. She found the version that was put together on the outside, but broken on the inside. The version that was selfish, with immature ways. But she also found the version who wasn't willing to settle for that's just who I am. So I decided to make some changes. And 8 years later, here I am. Not exactly where I want to be, but far from the man that I used to be. Have a blessed day, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back. Listen, that was one of my favorite videos to do because it was real and it was me just being honest. And me just understanding, like, you know, me and my wife have a lot of influence because we've been building our social platform for a long time and a lot of people follow us. So the best thing that you can do is just be real and transparent with those people. So, you know, I make a lot of videos with my wife and a lot of women just reach out and like, where can I find a man like you? And I just want to address it and just be honest. My wife didn't find a man like me. She found a guy that was well put together on the outside and still broken and dealing with some of the deeper issues on the inside. So for me, it was just understanding from the standpoint of like, as men, we love to compartmentalize things. We love to put things up here, lock it up, and throw away the key. But I've learned, like, you have to deal with your issues. You have to put them on the table and deal with them head on. Because we all know you will repeat what you don't repair. And many times, that's why so many things get passed down to our kids, and our kids continue to pass it down to their kids. And, you know, it just continues for generations to come until somebody steps up and stand in the gap and deal with those issues and just say, like, the buck stops here. And, you know, that was a decision that I made, that I no longer want to pass those things down. I want to go to work on myself so that I don't have to live with the insecurities that I was dealing with. So I don't have to continue on that path of that's just who I am. So that's just me understanding, like, you can't pay lip service and expect to see changes. You have to pay life service. You have to be willing to commit to the decisions that you've made and just become the person that you want to be, because it's not going to happen by accident. We can all say that we've changed, we're a different person. But at the end of the day, a person haven't changed until you see the changes. And I think that's when my wife started to see the changes. And, you know, she started telling people about the person I'm becoming. And it wasn't by accident. It was about me committing to being a different person, putting myself in different environments. I'll talk about it later, but just getting in different Bible study groups or whatever the case may be, just going and putting myself in an environment, in a healthy environment that's going to allow me to talk about some of these deeper rooted issues that I faced in my lifetime. So again, the best thing that you can be is real and honest with yourself, because that's the only way that you're going to see real change and the only way that you're going to make an impact on those who are watching you and those who are following you and those who pretend like they're not watching you, but you know they really are, because they want to say, like, I told you so. You thought you was better than us. You thought you was going to do something different, and I knew you was going to go back to being that old version of yourself. So don't give them people that excuse to say that about you. Just continue to grow regardless of the things that they have to say about you. and just understand, like, you are not your past. The mistakes that you've made, the choices that you made, listen, they are meant to be learned from, not lived in. So learn from those things and just leverage those things to build the future that you want. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, I've made mistakes, a lot of them, a lot of bad decisions. But guess what? I'm no longer living in the past. So why would I let those things hold me hostage to the person that I used to be and the things that I used to do? Like, use that to grow. Use that to pass on knowledge and wisdom to somebody else. Hey, I've been down that path and this is what happened to me. But I've learned to react differently. I learned to respond differently. I've learned that there's a better way. There's another way, and I want to teach you that way. Learn from my mistakes. Don't go down the same path that I went down and make some of the same bad decisions that I made. So use that to leverage, to build your better future and to help others as well. And just understand the thing that's happened in your past, like, you can't erase those things. Those are the things that made you who you are today. So for me, I always tell myself, forget it enough to get over it, but remember it enough not to let it happen again. You don't have to like dwell on those things, but you have to learn from those things, and you have to keep it in the back of your mind like, hey, I've done this before, I made this decision before, and this is what happened. And I'm not going to allow that to happen again. So I'm going to make different decisions, different choices. I'm going to go down a different path and try something different. That's a decision that you have to make, and you have to stick with that regardless of what the culture is telling you to do, regardless of what the people around you are telling you to do. You have to learn from your mistakes. You have to follow your gut and trust your instincts, and just continue to say no to the things that doesn't line up with the person that you want to become. And I think that's one, it's a hard thing to do, but as you start to grow and you start to mature and you start to build on the habits that you've learned, it's going to become easier because you have a new character, you have a new nature. So as you continue to grow and mature, just make the decisions that line up with the person that you want to be. If it's outside of your character or what you know to be true, then don't go down that path. Don't even give it the time or the day. Don't even give it your energy. Like, invest your times in the thing that you want to see grow and expand and increase in your life. And when you do that, I think you will see the changes that you want, and you will see those changes sustained in your life, and you will see those impacting the people around you in a totally different manner. So just continue to focus on what it is that you want in life, and don't allow anybody to bring you back down to a level that you've already leveled up from. Continue to surround yourself with new people that's going to push you forward and push you to be a better version of yourself, and not people that's going to allow you to sit around and be mediocre and think you're lit. You're better than mediocre. You're better than what people are telling you. There's always room for growth. I talked about it before. Construction workers, that when they're on a job, they have on construction hats. You know those people because of the hats. You have to always wear your hat. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still growing. I'm still doing work on myself. And you just have to continue to show up for yourself with that mindset, understanding there's always room for growth. And when you do that, you won't settle for a watered down version of yourself. You're going to show up as yourself 100 proof, regardless of who can't handle you. And I think that's when you step into your true power and your true purpose. And another thing, you can't do it alone. You need the people that God has put in your life, and they need you. So surround yourself with those people. Reach out to those people. If you don't have a mentor, find somebody who can pour into you. Find somebody who can show you a different way. Find somebody who can teach you some different things, who can pass down the wisdom and the knowledge from the things that they learn. For me, I tell myself all the time, you can always learn from somebody. You just have to be willing to listen with a filter. Early on, when I decided to change, like, I wasn't taking advice from every single body, because I can look at your life and decide that's not the life that I want. So why would I take the advice from you? I'm going to listen, but I'm going to listen with a filter. Everything that I don't need, everything that I don't want to hear, like, I'm just going to filter those things out, and I'm going to dig out the gold, the wisdom, the knowledge that you have to say, and that's what I'm going to fill my cup with. So you have to learn to listen with a filter. Everything that people have to tell you may not be for you, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with that person. You don't have to debate that person. Listen with a filter. And I think that comes with maturity and understanding, like, you don't have to have an argument with everybody. You don't have to have a debate with everybody. Everybody doesn't have to be wrong. You're not always right. And when you come to that conclusion, that's when you're growing. That's when you're stepping into a new version of yourself. Learn to stop letting people's opinion change your mood. You have to always go into it with the mindset of, like, listen, this person has value too. I just have to be willing to put everything to the side, listen to some of the stuff that I don't agree with, and learn not to say anything. Filter it out, take it with a grain of salt, and dig out the gold and what they have to say and what I need to learn from this conversation. And on that same topic, I did a video before, and it was about relationships. And I said, guys, listen, instead of Netflix and chill, listen to her and help her heal. And for me, that was also a reminder, as guys, we need healing too. We need to heal from some of the things that happened to us in our past so we can stop passing it down to our kids and letting it go on for generations to come. Because like I said before, we repeat what we don't repair. Like I said, when we compartmentalize things, that's us not want to deal with it. That's us not want to talk about it. So at some point, you have to talk about these things. You have to heal from these things so that you can become that best version of yourself. Because you can't become that best version of yourself carrying around garbage, carrying around everything from your past and thinking that you're strong. You're strong when you put those things down and deal with them. And that's what I've learned to do. It's not an easy process, but when you put yourself in a healthy environment that allow you to do it in a healthy way so that you can benefit from it, so that you can leverage it to build your family on, to build that foundation for your family on, and just continue to build that foundation for your faith and for your growth to continue to grow and increase and become everything that God has created you to be, then you have to deal with those things. You can no longer run from those things. I've said it before. What you run from stays with you the longest. So you can think you can outrun those things, but it's gonna come back up. It's gonna catch back up to you. So why not deal with those things head on? I used to all the time, me and my wife would get into arguments and like I would just not talk to her for days. Like we stayed in the same house and I just wouldn't even look at her, wouldn't talk to her. And I was like, why am I doing that? Why do I revert to that anything something bad happens? And I had to change that. Like I have to literally deal with things. The Bible says like, do not go to bed angry. And when I learned that verse, it was like, you know why I say don't go to bed angry? Because you're going to wake up with that same anger and resentment. You're going to wake up and carry those things around for days. And I always say like, if something doesn't fit you, if you put on clothes and it's too big for you or it's too little for you, like what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to wear it or are you going to take it off and put something else on? Same thing with anger. Like anger does not fit you. Like insecurity does not fit you. All of these things that's negative, they don't fit you, and that's why you're uncomfortable in it. So stop wearing it. Stop walking around with these things on and thinking everybody is looking at you a certain way or thinking like all that people are talking about you and all these things. Like, no, that's you putting this pressure on yourself. That's you giving the enemy power over yourself. That's you allowing him to get in your head and telling you a story that only you is buying, only you is reading. I had to learn. People are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. Most people are just going about their day dealing with their own issues. So they don't have time to deal with your issues. So you have to address these issues. You have to stop wearing around things that don't fit you. And like I said, deal with these things. When you do that, you start seeing things in a different manner. You have a different perspective. You start walking over things that you used to trip over. That's when you really start to grow and mature in such a way that people see you and they know something is different about you because you have a different mindset. You have a different perspective. You're no longer letting things that used to have power over you hold you hostage. You released yourself and got the freedom from those things because you've changed your mind. You become a new person. That doesn't fit me, so why am I wearing it? Fear doesn't fit me, so why am I wearing it? Insecurity doesn't fit me, so why am I wearing it? The things that people put over you, it don't fit me, so why am I wearing it and walking around with it? No, it don't fit me. I'm going to take it off and put on everything that God has to say about me. And that's when you start walking as a new person and start really stepping into your purpose, your calling, and everything that He created you to be. So don't do it for anybody but yourself. This level up, this growth is for you. So don't look for validation. Don't look for people to clap for you. Clap for yourself. Celebrate for yourself because only you knew what it took to get these personal victories. Only you knew what it took to get this far. Only you knew how much effort and time and focus that it took to become this version of yourself. So don't wait for people to validate you. Validate yourself. Step up, step in, and show out for yourself. Continue to show up for yourself. And I'm not saying like don't accept it when people do these things for you. I'm saying that don't expect them to. Don't look for them to. Like when it happens, like take it in. Like, yes, thank you. I used to have this problem, like people would compliment me and I didn't know what to do. So I would just make an excuse of like, oh, well, it was this or it was that. And it was like, no, like, thank you. I've been working hard on that. So thank you for seeing that in me. Like, I don't expect it. I don't want people to say that. But when they say that, I have to learn to like accept it. So I think that's another thing that comes along with this is like accepting when people compliment you. Accepting when people give you positive feedback. Like it was, that sounds silly, but it was hard for me to do those things. And I don't know why it was. It must have been something like just stuck up here. It's like, you're not worthy of those things. But when I just opened up my eyes to, like, that's a foothold that the devil have over me. I'm doing the right thing. I'm becoming something different. People are seeing that and they're complimenting me on that, but I refuse to accept it. And it was like, no, devil, get out of here. Like, thank you for that. I needed to hear that. Sometimes when I say, like, don't look for that, doesn't mean that we don't need it. We still need it, but for me, it's like, don't expect people to do that for you, because they're not always going to do that. So you have to do it for yourself. But when they do it, you have to learn to accept it. And the last thing that I want to tell you guys, your growth journey is going to be up and it's going to be down. It's going to be up and it's going to be down. But the one thing that you have to remember, the further you go up, when you go down, you're still further along than where you used to be. So you have to understand, do not strive for perfection. It won't happen. You have to strive and continue to strive for progress. I'm not where I want to be tomorrow, but I'm further along than I were yesterday. So you just have to continue to focus on growing and progressing and becoming everything that God created you to be. So celebrate the small victories, because like I said, you are the only person that knew what it takes to get them. So thank you guys for listening in. Like, comment, share. Follow me. I got a Facebook page at Martavius Young. Follow me on TikTok at Martavius Young. On Instagram at Martavius Young as well. So thank you guys for listening in and have a blessed day.